Today, I'm very honored to be joined by the former president of the Houston Texans ever since the franchise was founded for over 20 years, also an author, speaker, professor, and the former CEO of the Houston Dynamo and Dash, and the former president and GM of the Columbus Crew, and helped create Major League Soccer. Wow, probably the longest introduction I've ever had to do for a guest. So, Mr. Rootes, it is an absolute honor to have you on the show this evening. How are you doing?
Well, you could have just introduced me as a humbled and excited guest of yours. I'm glad to be with you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's an absolute honor to have you on the show tonight. I think you've just received tons of awards for your work in business and marketing, also as a CEO, and you truly helped the Texans become one of the most valuable franchises in the world. So, how were you so successfully able to rise in sports, particularly reaching all the way to the top as a president of the Texans? How did this journey happen?
Great. Well, I mean, as with anything, it starts with hard work and a winning attitude. So it starts there, but that's just one small piece of it. What I brought to the table. Also had great cities that I had the great pleasure of working in, like Columbus, Ohio, and more recently in Houston, Texas. Just great communities with tremendous spirit and great support for the team and ownership. Amazing ownership with McNair family, as you know, here in Houston, have been great stewards of the Houston Texans, and prior to that in Columbus with Lamar Hunt and his family. Just great people that cared deeply about the community and what the organization could do for the community. And then the teammates that you work with, always had outstanding people to work with, high character, hardworking. So all that stuff together, helps to lead to success.
Yeah, I mean, you always need support along the way, and I feel like there've been a lot of great people in this Texans organization, obviously, like you, that have done a tremendous job, and it's great to see that. And I wanna know like what the schedule is typically for you, what it was for you on a game day, because I'm interested to see, what a president does during games.
Oh, well, during game day is when the I would call it the hay's in the barn. I mean, you've done all your preparation, and now it's time to go out and execute. And so my role was just being available to answer questions and help people. Did a lot of entertaining. Of course, we had our most important clients that came out. Would do walkthroughs to see how our operation was going. You have your teammates that are all executing on the plan, and that gave me the flexibility to be able to observe all of that and see if there's things that we can be doing better the next time that we go out and do it, or identify opportunities for us between seasons to make improvements to what we're doing. So really, it was many and varied in terms of the activities, but I'll tell you, game day was the best day of the week, the most exciting time. We'd get there early. You could just feel the energy of the fans and the energy of our staff, and certainly our players and our coaches. Everybody was so excited to get it going and enjoy what is so wonderful about the National Football League.
Yeah, I mean, Sundays are really special for me, obviously, because
Of
we're,
course.
yeah, because we're big fans of the Texans. It's always a day I look forward to. Just sit down, watch the NFL on a Sunday afternoon, and it's such an amazing experience. And you had such a great role over the 20 years in bringing the Texans to where they are at the height of their successes. I think the fans are really excited about the team. The home games are sold out then, and then there are a lot of tailgate parties, etc. And I think over the past, I would say maybe last year or at the end of the year before that, I think fans were, it wasn't necessarily the smoothest ride. I'll just put it that way. But do you think that Bob McNair's void had kind of I would say, a cascading effect on this kind of the state of where the Texans were over the past 2 years? Obviously, it's looking upward now, but in the past, I do think so.
Well, Bob McNair was a wonderful man, a great leader, incredible philanthropist, and his family. That still remains the same. They have a tremendous passion for the city of Houston and for the team, and you're always trying to get better. I do know, being here on the outside for the last year plus, you really do feel a sense of hope and optimism and excitement, particularly after the draft. I think there's a lot of energy in the community for the team. I mean, Houston's a football town, and the Texans are still that battle red still beats in people's hearts here in Houston. So I think it could be a very exciting season. It's a very difficult league, right? So winning is never assured any Sunday. But it seems like things, appear to be headed in the right direction, and that's really exciting to see.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you there. I think the draft was incredible. I think a lot of Texans fans are now really, really excited about what the future holds for the Houston Texans. And I want to go back to on February 10th of last year when the news came out that you had resigned as the president of the Texans. This was stuff that I read according to ESPN. So it was stated that you didn't necessarily like the direction the team was heading in, and that you were heavily involved in the GM search committee, and that it said that you felt your work was not, as valued. None of the top 5 candidates you selected were ultimately chosen, as obviously Cal McNair and Mr. Jack Easterby. Ended up choosing Nick Caserio from New England to be the next GM. So can you maybe, if possible, could expand on that situation during that time?
Where you're reading somebody else's words, not mine. So, I was, at the Houston Texans for a long time and had leadership role for a long time. Sometimes those things, run their course, and it's time to go and try something different. I'm excited with what I'm doing now. I've gotten into education as a professor in sport management, have a chance to help to mold the next generation of leaders in the sports industry. And it's kind of fun to be reflecting upon the experiences that you've had and impart those to others to illustrate some of the things that they need to be learning as they come into this really fun and exciting industry.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, obviously, I just wanted to ask you, that's why I wanted to hear it directly from you, not what other people had to say, supposedly from you. So thank you for talking about that. And, how is your relationship with Cal McNair probably compared to his father, Bob? I mean, do you see a big difference in their, I guess, philosophy and how they approach different people and what it takes to achieve success for a franchise?
Well, I would just say broadly, the family is an incredibly important part of our community, and the ethos that Bob had remains with the team. Caring about the community. You see how deeply involved the Texans remain in supporting important causes across the community. I saw one of your interviews with J.J. Watt, and the response to Hurricane Harvey. I mean, that was just one of many opportunities for the Texans and players like JJ to get behind important causes, that transcend sports, and that legacy that Bob started lives on with the Texans. You see it on a regular basis. The Texans stepping out and making a difference for the community.
Yeah. So do you see that maybe Cal is kind of following in the footsteps of Bob, or is kind of his approach different at all, or is it?
Well, the things that I've seen is just from the outside here. Most recently, is the continuation of that community support, because I do think teams that recognize that they have an obligation to give back to the community that supports them so well. I mean, that's part of the success model, and it's part of the quid pro quo that exists. Your community supports you, and you support your community.
Yeah, and it's been great to see what they've been doing in the community. I feel like as an NFL franchise, it's important to give back and help the surrounding community get better in whatever facet you can do.
Well,
And I
one
wanted,
of the exciting things also here in Houston is to see how charitable all of the teams are. You go across the board, and they're all trying to step up and make Houston a better place for everyone. So that I don't know that completely sets Houston apart, but it's definitely exciting to see that in our community there is a real caring spirit among the professional sports teams.
yeah, I totally agree. It's been great to see that. So I think Houston is very special. The people here are like super awesome, and I'm very happy to be a Houstonian living here. I want to hear your relationship. How would you kind of describe your relationship with Nick Caserio, if you had a chance to talk to him at all after you resigned?
No. The timing of my departure was, coincided with his hiring, so we've not had a chance to connect.
I see. How would you view his role as GM so far? How would your thoughts on his job so far?
Well, I can just tell you from really more from a fan's perspective, and gauging the pulse of the fans. There seems to be a tremendous amount of excitement about the draft and about the moves that have been made. So these things take time to play out, but the early returns seem to be positive. I mean, I've always thought, one of the key things that you need to do from a business perspective is give fans hope that the future can be better than wherever you might be today. And certainly there seems to be a great sense of hope among Texans Nation.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I also have a lot of hope for this team to get back into the playoffs, get back in the mix of things, and hopefully we can bring a Lombardi Trophy to Houston soon. And I also want to hear about Jack Easterby. He rose quickly through the Texans organization. He's now the executive vice president of football operations that he got in January 2020. I mean, he was a character development coach in Kansas City and a character coach in New England before coming to Houston and his rise. I think it's been very impressive for him and what he's accomplished. So how would you maybe describe your relationship with him and maybe what he does behind the scenes? From
Well,
what
as you know, I've been out of it for quite a large amount of time. So
Yeah.
anything that I'd tell you would be similar to what you'd hear on the radio. So I don't have any particular knowledge. So that's not really a good one for me.
Have you had a chance to speak with him at all?
And I've moved forward. I'm in my next career and moving on. So from time to time, I'm checking in with members of the staff and maintaining a connection with people that meant a lot to me. But I can't say that those are that often because they've got their lives and they're moving on, and I'm doing the same.
Yeah, I agree. And you're living it to the fullest. I'd say you're achieving a lot of great stuff in your career. And when you were the president of the Texans, obviously you have to take a lot of tough decisions, and sometimes maybe whether it's through the media, they may perceive it in some different way or something like that. Some fans it may not be as popular with some fans, obviously, but you want to go through with your vision, what you have for the Houston Texans. So looking back, is there maybe anything you could have done differently that you were thinking about relating to one of your decisions? Maybe possibly when Miss Amy Posick, the head of PR, was let go. Would you be able to expand on that at all, if possible?
Oh, not that particular issue, but I can tell you, there's lots of things that you do, and you wonder whether you got it right or not. I would say you have to look at the body of work over a long period of time. We built a franchise, collectively, all of us, starting with ownership and all of the front office, the coaches, the players, and the administrative staff. We built a franchise that fans really connected to. And so when you look at the body of work, I'm very proud of what we got accomplished. It was really a great blessing to have that opportunity to be part of the organization for as long as I was.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see what you've done for the Texans since the very beginning. And also looking back, could you have, or the Texans have done maybe anything different for you to for them to keep you as president?
Oh, like I said, it's been a very long run. Sometimes those things run their course and you move forward. And so, I'm happy with how things have transpired, and I'm sure that they are too. And they're working hard to build a champion for Houston. I mean, you are the number one sports fan here in this community, and winning a Lombardi Trophy would be a great blessing for both the team and for this wonderful city.
Yeah, for sure. I hope one day we can bring that trophy back to Houston, and I'm sure this football team is definitely heading in that direction for the future. And since you oversaw, I would say, the business side of things for the Texans, I want to ask you, like, when the team is in a stretch maybe where they aren't winning as many ball games, it's obviously very tough to win in the National Football League, and the team maybe doesn't have as much, I would say, top tier talent. What's kind of the strategy to maybe selling tickets and keeping the business in a good position? Because I think you are a huge reason why the Texans had 185 straight sellout games.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not unique to the Houston Texans. It's all of professional sports because things are going to go up and things are going to go down. When the team's doing well, you try to capitalize on that success and build the business to the extent that you can. When things are challenging, you try to be a bit of an insurance policy based on the service that you provide to your customers, the relationships that you've built with your customers, and to, as we talked about earlier, always being able to show a measure of hope that that the future can be better than whatever you might be going through at the current time. That's one of the great things about the NFL is just how competitive it is, the parity that exists, and you never know from Sunday to Sunday who's going to win, and from season to season teams rise and teams fall, and that's the fact of life, and that's one of the things that makes it really exciting and challenging.
Yeah, I agree, because every year it's really different in the National Football League. Every year, each team starts at 0-0 and it's a new year ahead.
Right.
Like, what kind of maybe marketing strategies do you have to kind of build up the team? I would say, like, to build up the team hype when maybe they aren't winning as many games. Like, is there like a specific route that you go towards?
Well, I mean, you're trying to identify what it is that inspires passion and energy and pride, and communicate that to your fan base consistently, and have a vision for the experience that you want to provide to them, because you can't really control what happens on the field, but you can, in some ways, control what happens outside. From the tailgating to the energy inside the building, the rituals and traditions that you create over time. Those all connect people together and connect them to something that's bigger than themselves. So that's, those are the types of strategies that seem to have been successful over a long period of time. Let me ask you, what's your favorite moment as a Texans fan?
Well, I would have to go back towards that. I would say that wild card game. I think it was in 2019 or 2021. Those years where it was against the Buffalo Bills. That game, I think, really stood out to me, especially how it ended and the Texans were able to head back to the divisional round. I thought that was really, really special. And of course, I would say what J.J. Watt has done, probably some of his great moments throughout his career as a Houston Texan. Those really stand out to me. And I think we've had a lot of great moments over the years, and I hope we can continue to have those for the future as well.
Well, there absolutely will be great moments to come. So, and those were great moments. I share those as favorite memories with you.
Yeah, for sure. I would, those are great memories, and I hope, like I said before, we can continue to have them. And I'm sure, I was wondering if you had the chance to watch the Texans a lot last season.
Yeah, I did. I tuned in as a fan. I mean, haven't been there from the beginning. It's got a place in my heart. It's no longer my vocation, but it's something that I care about. So yeah, and I care about the people that are there. So sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's great to hear. And they have a lot of young talent that they got through this draft and also through last year's draft. So since as a fan, I would say, what do you think about Davis Mills, and based on what you've seen out of him, do you think he's the quarterback of the future?
Well, during my time with the Texans, I was never one to opine on the talent on the field, and now that I'm even more removed, I wouldn't be able to give you an accurate perspective. I trust the people that are in charge, that they put the right players in place to win on Sunday. It's a really complicated puzzle that you put together, and so I just enjoy watching that finished product on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the Texans are taking the right steps, and I think it's going to be a much better product next season. And I want to go into the MLS. I think you helped launch the MLS as a president and general manager of the Columbus Crew. So how did you kind of get your interest in soccer? Because I think it's a sport that maybe should have a little bit more prominence in the US that unfortunately may not have right now. I saw that you played soccer at Clemson. That team won 2 NCAA titles. You also served as a assistant coach for the Hoosiers during your time while you were earning your master's degree. So
Right.
how did that interest build up?
Well, I've played since I was little, and always thought as I was growing up that my future was going to be as a professional athlete, and don't know that I had necessarily had the talent, but I had the ambition. There wasn't a professional soccer league when I finished at Clemson University, and so when I got the opportunity several years later to be part of this launch of Major League Soccer, it was really kind of a labor of love, a passion to create something for the kids coming out of college that me and teammates didn't necessarily have the opportunity to be part of. So, it's amazing to see the growth of the game here in the United States. Hopefully there's an opportunity for the World Cup to come right here to Houston, Texas. We'll know that pretty soon. Things like that are really step changes for the game. And so it's seen a lot of success. I think the future is really bright. It's just a matter of time, and generationally, people getting engaged with the game, both as a participant and a spectator.
Yeah, and I think you were so instrumental in bringing some of these amazing sporting events to Houston as the president of Lone Star Sports and Entertainment. You brought some, you helped bring some additional college football games like the Texas Bowl, and obviously amazing soccer games like the Copa America in 2016, and the Manchester Derby in 2017, and the International Champions Cup between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. And you also helped lead the efforts to secure the Texans an appearance in Monday Night Football's first Mexico appearance. You're also part of the Super Bowl committees in both years that the Texans hosted the Super Bowl. So how were you able to make this happen? Like, how did you, I would say, promote Houston, I guess the process behind that?
Well, it's not hard. Houston's a great city with tremendous infrastructure. I mean, a great, passionate fan base for whatever sport you might want to bring here. And so it's just a matter of Houston consistently proving itself. And, you're as good as your last opportunity. So every opportunity that goes well, you move on to the next one.
Yeah, for sure. And I hope we can continue to have some more great sporting events being brought here to Houston, because I think Houston
We
is,
will.
yeah, for sure. I think Houston is just such a great city, and I think the opportunities should be able to present themselves. And what would you say were the differences between helping manage like a football team like the Texans compared to a major league soccer team like the Columbus Crew, or when you were briefly the CEO of the Dynamo or Dash?
Yes, so the principles involved in managing a professional sports franchise from a business perspective are consistent. Now, there are differences between the sports, the size of the sport, the amount of attention that you have, and so you have to adjust and adapt based on that. But the fundamental principles remain the same.
Yeah, so I hope that there's more prominence towards the Dynamo and Dash. The Dynamo season has been going on. I've been a big fan of the Dynamo, and it's been great to see that Houston has soccer teams that can play here. I've interviewed a few players from the Dynamo on my channel, like Fafa Pico and Tim Parker. I think I went to their practice facility, and yeah, they have a great facility, great players, and really hope they can continue to win some more soccer games here. And I also wanted to talk about your book, The Winning Game Plan. How did you kind of get the idea for that, and what are maybe some topics in the book that you think are like really important to some audiences here?
Well, it's just it's a compilation of leadership principles that I've espoused over time, and it was a project that was just an interesting aside to do, and I'm glad to have done it, to get it out there. And yeah, it's an easy read. I think there's some good fundamental leadership principles contained therein that can help any leader.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's a great outlet, and it's a great resource for leaders who want to get out there and build something. So I think it's a great initiative that you did indeed write this book. And for my future, personally, I want to get into play-by-play TV broadcasting. Yeah. So I think as president, you also coordinated the radio and TV broadcasting relationships for the Texans. So were you directly hired in that hiring process for broadcasters? And if so, what were you looking for?
Yeah, so Mark Vandermeer has been the play-by-play voice of the Texans from the beginning, and I know you've had a chance to interview him, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that was what we were looking for: that passion, that excitement, a good voice, but somebody who could get across the energy and excitement and passion of the game of football to the fans, and inspire and energize the fan base.
Yeah, and I think Mr. Vandermeer has done a great job with that. He was a great interview for me. I really enjoyed talking to him as well. And I think it was reported that you became involved at UH quite a bit as a speaker and a writer, a consultant, and a professor after your time with the Texans as president. And if I'm correct, I think you're also working at Sam Houston State University as a professor. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. This past spring, I was at Sam Houston State University, and that's really kind of my focus for right now. And we'll see what happens.
So does that keep you like really busy, or do you have like a lot of free time?
No, it keeps me busy.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And it's a great profession to get into. And I wish you the best of luck in that. And thank you so much for the time, Mr. Rootes. I really appreciate it. And thank you for sharing all that great information and joining the show.
Well, thank you for being a great fan.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really enjoy the Texans, and I hope you can continue to watch the Texans as a fan as well.
Great to be with you, my friend.